Okay, so one of the coverages we can work in off our blitzes is going to be cover two man. Now, there's not a ton to break down here, but in this whole Steelers steel curtain defense, I'm all about bringing pressure. We bring blitzes. We have cover two blitzes, cover three blitzes, man blitzes, zero man, single high, all these different variations of blitzes. But to have some just simple coverages you can rely on helps a ton. Having just, really good cover two man, we're still rushing four. That's how I like to do it. I'll just let that linebacker rush. I'll come walk this guy down 1 to 2 steps. The guy who's covering the running back, I'll user him, and just kind of come out. Didn't mean to engage there, but yeah, it's just man coverage across the board. But basically, we want to use this as our, we're going to blitz. I usually blitz 70, 80% of the time. So having some really good just man coverage all across the board. We have safety help over this top. Just throw different looks at your opponent. You don't want him to get too comfortable. You can also slide. You can do a few things. I've messed with this. Slide your D-line to the side of your blitzing linebacker. And try to get a one-on-one. And sometimes I'll show you guys where I'll actually get that linebacker free. We actually have gameplay footage of that as well. So not a ton to break down here. One thing to keep in mind with cover two man, if you run it stock, you'll see everybody's pressed up on the line and they're going to be playing underneath coverage on these guys. So they're basically going to be automatically shaded down. If you want to ever use this and it's 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15, or you just don't want your guys to get beat over the top, shade up. And now they're going to play much different coverage on the outside. They won't play underneath. They'll actually play more over the top of these guys, and you won't get beat as easy over the top, but you do have safety help, over the top anyway. So cover two man, let's go look at some gameplay footage. All right, cover two man coverage across the board. We're just going to kind of run through these quick. Obviously, if the running back kind of stays in the block, we can help down the field with our user. Here he tries to go up over the top. We see we have safety help across the board. Man coverage underneath, meet at the catch point, we get the knockout. The great thing when you're running coverage is too, when you're playing a defense, so I'll put out different defenses throughout the year. Like my Georgia defense I put out earlier in the year for NCAA, that's a very coverage heavy defense. So kind of how I look at defense in these games is there's two ways to play defense. You can play coverage heavy or you can play blitz heavy. And to me, the difference and what you get out of the two defenses is if you play a blitz heavy defense, you're forcing them to constantly block extra people. You can speed up their process even when you play coverage, right? So we're going to blitz 70% of the time. So he almost, after a few drives, he thinks you're just bringing heat. So it naturally speeds up their process even when we play coverage. So now they're going to rush decisions. They think pressure's coming. They're always worried about the pressure, what blitz is coming next, who's he sending, whatever. Or you play a coverage heavy defense where you're only blitzing, maybe you're playing coverage 70, 80% of the time, you're blitzing 20%. And what you're trying to do there is every time you blitz, you're basically telling them you have to beat my coverages. You're going to have to send everybody out on routes. You're going to have to hold the ball, wait for people to get open. And then when I do blitz now, you're always going to be thinking I'm playing coverage. So when I do blitz, you're not going to have extra guys in. They're going to catch you off guard and you're going to, get blitzed almost every time I send one. So that is my two principles on how I think you should play defense in these games. And this is one of the defenses where we tend to blitz a ton. So now we're going to speed up the process. When we play coverage, they're going to, think blitzes are coming. So look at how fast this guy's getting the ball out of his hands. He's barely hitting the back of his drop against a cover two man, just throwing it out on the edge. 1st and 10, he gets 2 yards because he thinks pressure is coming. He doesn't know when the blitz is coming. He doesn't know where it's coming from. Here, this guy tries to hold the ball, go down the field one-on-one, but we have a safety over the top. Pick them off kind of to end the half. Here's another one, play action, running back in the flat. So I'm just going to use her. And we see just really good coverage across the back end. Really nothing there. Tries to go up over the top. Safety help. Corner undercuts it. Picks them off. And we are going the other way with the football. Now this blitz every once in a while too. I think this is the one. Yeah, every once in a while you're gonna see something interesting where you'll get a double team on the nose tackle, and this linebacker will shoot in. I've messed with kind of the spacing, try to bring my user down away from the blitzing linebacker, and it'll just happen every once in a while where you're just gonna get a free rusher from this guy up right in his face. This is another one where you'll get a double team on the guys, and even though it's only 3-man front, they'll do a double team up front and let this linebacker come up Main Street. So that's one other thing I noticed with this cover 2-man where you have a 3-man front. If you ever have a 4-man front, it'll never do it because you're just rushing the 4. But every once in a while, when you have a 3-man front and you brush one of the high linebackers, this will happen. So that's just another kind of little thing to keep in mind.